Hey, what's up? Welcome back to The Artist Influence. It's Brian back again. Look, today I want to talk about something really simple, and it's something that's going to happen no matter what you're trying to do in your life. It's something that you will absolutely 100% experience at one time or another. You might experience a lot of it, you might experience a little of it. If you're trying to become a professional dancer, you absolutely guaranteed will experience more of this than you ever want to experience in your entire life, and that is rejection. Rejection is a part of success, it's a part of life, it's a part of failing and trying again, it's a part of growth, it's a part of your transition as a dancer, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a human being. It's part of your growth, it's just part of life. So if we understand that rejection is a part of life, it's going to be a part of the dance industry, it's going to be a part of your auditioning, it's going to be a part of you getting passed over for jobs that you feel like you're perfect for, it's going to come up when you make it to the end of a horrible, grueling audition that's 8 hours, 10 hours long over 2 or 3 days, going to callbacks and coming back multiple times, making it down to you and maybe 2 or 3 other people, and not getting the job and experiencing rejection at that level. It's going to happen when you go to audition after audition after audition and you haven't booked a job or gotten an opportunity in maybe 6 months or even a year in some cases, and you're going through a dry spell. That same rejection is going to come up, and it's how you process it, it's how you deal with it, it's how you allow it and use it for your benefit that will set you up to be successful in the long run. So let's tackle this. Let's talk about rejection. How do you process rejection? Well, there's a lot of different ways that we process rejection. Everyone processes it differently. Some people are better at processing it than others, but just like lifting weights, just like learning a new skill, just like learning a new language, you can learn to process rejection in a better way, in a healthier way, and in a more positive way. No matter what you're trying to do in life, whether you're out there and you're one of my inspiring dancers, one of the dancers that I taught today here in New Jersey for Excel, for the convention I teach at, whether you're someone who is trying to lose weight, whether you're someone who's trying to become a model or an actor, or you're someone who's trying to start your own business or a salesperson or whatever it is, rejection is part of the game. And rejection is just another word for failure. And failure is all a part of success. The greatest people in history, the people who created everything that we take for granted today, the light bulb, airplanes, iPads, whatever it is, you name it, they went through a huge amount of rejection along the way and failure along the way because they needed to figure out how it didn't work so they could figure out how it could work. I'm going to say that again. Rejection is just another time of you figuring out what doesn't work so that way you can figure out what does work. Now, the difference between general rejection and the rejection that we deal with in the commercial dance industry is the rejection you deal with in the commercial dance industry as a dancer is a lot harder to process. And there's several reasons for this. One reason is a lot of times the rejection you're experiencing has nothing to do with your talent level. It has nothing to do with how good or bad of a dancer you are. And it has everything to do with things about you that you have no power of changing. How tall you are, whether you're a guy or a girl, whether you're muscular, whether you're not muscular, whether you have tattoos, whether you don't have tattoos, your ethnicity, your skin tone. All of these things that you have no control over are all things that will either get you a job or not get you a job. So, how do you process that? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with going into a room and having a group of people across the table watch you and judge your dancing, and even if you're the best dancer in the world or in the room and you don't get the job, how do you deal with that rejection? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it when you're starting, and how do you deal with it as you go along? Well, I'm here to tell you how to deal with it, yeah? And this is just a strategy that's worked for me. I know people have their own strategies of how to deal with rejection and how to process it in the best way, but what I like to do, and maybe this will work for you, maybe it won't, but all I can do is offer what's worked for me, and the reasons behind why I think it works for me. One of the things that I do, whenever I experience rejection of any kind, whether it's failure, whether it's trying something new and failing at it, whether it's, whatever it is, any type of rejection, I always try to remember that who I am as a person and my life and everything about the world is so much greater than this one particular instant, than this one particular moment in time. So even though that particular moment of time, whatever it is, your boyfriend or girlfriend just broke up with you, a loss of a family member or a loved one, that's not really rejection, that's loss. It's a different thing, but it still applies. Any type of horrible situation or bad feeling or bout of depression or anger or frustration or anxiety, all of those things are individual moments in time, right? And if you remember when you were a little kid, and you would just get so frustrated and sad, and you really felt when you were a little kid that you never would not be sad again. Or if you were sick, don't you remember that first couple times you were ever really sick as a kid, and you started thinking and really feeling like, man, am I going to feel like this forever? Is this how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life? And as you grow up, you go through sicknesses and you go through periods of health and you go through triumphs and successes and stuff, and you realize that anytime you're experiencing rejection or anger or frustration or sadness, it's only for a short amount of time. And in that saying, this too shall pass, it's true. Nothing is ever forever. Yeah, everything is always changing. So you got to remember that. So that's the first thing I remember. I think that I just remind myself that, this moment in time is just one moment. It's one moment of my entire life. I'm 29, and this moment in the time that I'm 29 when things aren't going my way is only one short glimpse of my entire life and all of the joy and success that I'm going to experience and that you'll experience over the course of your life. So remind yourself of that. It's tough to think about that in the moment when you get rejected at an audition or whatever, and you go home dejected and you're kind of just sulking and you're thinking about, oh, this girl got it because she knew the choreographer, or whatever other reasons that you might give, that your mind might give for why things didn't go your way. You got to cut that out right away because it's not going to do anything beneficial for you. You got to remember that your life will continue and you'll have more opportunities and more successes down the road. So that's number one. Remember that. Remember that this is not forever, that there will be a tomorrow. Yeah? And also remember why you started dancing in the first place, or remember why you started your own business in the first place, or remember why you started losing weight in the first place. It's because something about it gives you fulfillment inside, and it makes you feel good as a person. It makes you feel like you're doing something, that you're growing, yeah? So remember that feeling, because it's something that you got to hold on to, especially as a professional dancer. You got to hold on to that feeling of just loving dance and loving what you're doing and being committed and connected to just doing what you're doing and not worrying about the result, not worrying about what you're going to get in return. And yeah, that's easier said than done, and things get more complicated. You start booking jobs, and you have bills and rent and all these things and these worries and stuff and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, you got to remember that if you're not having fun doing this as a dancer, man, if you're not having fun anymore, then you got to do something else, because there's so many other career paths in this world that can give you a lot more money and a lot more stability than being a professional dancer. So if you don't love it, you might need to try something different, yeah? So you got to always ask yourself that question. Do I love this still? Do I really love this? Do I love who I am while I'm doing it, yeah? And connect to that, and connect to what dance does for you, yeah? So those are two things. Number one, you got to remember that today is not forever, that this is not forever, that this moment will pass, that this rejection will pass, and that a success is right around the corner, Every no you get as a dancer or whatever is one step closer to that success. Every failure you experience, every time you look at yourself in the mirror and you haven't lost the weight you wanted to lose yet, or your body doesn't look the way it wants to, or you don't feel about yourself the way you want to feel, every moment that you realize that you're not where you want to be, that's just one moment where you're getting one step closer. The trick is to keep your eye on that prize and to feel this sense of fulfillment and gratitude that comes from realizing how blessed you are to even be sitting there and watching this video of me talking to you. I mean, you're sitting in front of a computer and you're watching a computer screen, and you must live in a country where you have access to internet. I mean, that alone is reason to feel blessed and grateful, I mean, I heard a statistic the other day. If you make more than $30,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of the entire world's population in income. So there's so many people in this world that have it so much worse than you do. So you have to remember how good you have it, even if what you're experiencing right now in the moment doesn't feel that good. So remember that, yeah? Number one, this too shall pass. Number two, remember why you love to do what you do, whatever it is. Remember why you love it. Connect to that passion inside of you, because that that passion inside of you, that reason why you're doing whatever it is you're doing, is going to push you through all of those barriers and all those failures along the way. It's going to give you momentum and drive, so that way it doesn't feel like this giant mountain you're climbing to success. It feels like you're on the fast track. It feels like you're on a highway and you're going 85 miles an hour and you're blowing past everyone and you're shooting through every wall that you come across and you're just barreling through every obstacle towards your goals. And it really can feel like that. It really can. Even in the moments where you're getting so rejected and you're getting failure after failure after failure, if you have a strong enough why inside of your heart and inside of your mind for whatever it is you're doing, a strong enough vision for yourself and your life, it's another video I'm going to do soon, just about visualizing and really creating this mental picture of where you want to be if you're not in a place where you want to be right now. You know, creating this vision of success in your life and driving yourself towards it and feeling this sense, this deep appreciation and gratitude for the possibilities that exist for you in your life. So stay connected to that. Stay connected to the passion inside you for whatever it is you're doing, because I'm here to tell you this. The fact of the matter is, if you're a professional dancer and you're trying to become a professional dancer, you will get at least 100 times more no's than you get yeses. You might be one of those lucky ones that just gets job after job after job, but it's not going to be like that forever. Trust me. Yeah, you'll go through periods where you're not booking anything. You'll go through periods where you can't find out about an audition if your life depended on it. You're going to go through periods where your pockets are so tight and you're so strapped financially that you don't know necessarily how you're going to make rent. But it's in those moments where you dig inside and you find the part of you who is beyond this moment, who is beyond space and time, who is infinite, and you realize this infinite ability within you to become more than you are right now. And you connect to that, and you connect to the passion and the reason for what you're doing, and you push forward, and you push through that obstacle, you push through that failure. So wherever you are in life, my friends, I just want to give you this message that don't let rejection and failure push you down. Rejection and failure should inspire you. It should teach you. You should try to learn from it. You should ask yourself a better question. Instead of asking yourself, oh, why didn't I get this? Ask myself, oh, what can I learn from this experience? And how can I let this experience push me forward in a way that maybe I don't realize right now, but in a year from now or 2 years from now, I'm going to look back at this very moment and realize that this moment when I felt so rejected and as such a failure, that I made a deal with myself and I made a decision, and that moment changed everything for me. You know, oftentimes you hear stories where a person's worst, most dark day turns out to be the thing that propels them towards more success than they ever dreamed in their entire life. And there's also stories about people who are on their worst day and at rock bottom, and they go further into rock bottom and they don't actually pull out of it. So it's all up to you at the end of the day. It's a decision that you make in your mind, that you want to achieve something and you want to push forward something, that nothing is going to stop you until you get there. So let rejection be your friend. Welcome it. Welcome rejection. Welcome failures along the way. They're teachers. They're the best teachers you'll ever have in your entire life. And this just doesn't go for dance. This goes for everything in your life. Your relationships, your family, your job, your career, your health, your emotions, it's everything. Everything. Don't be afraid of rejection and don't be afraid of failure. Put yourself out there. Yeah? Connect, commit to what you're doing, and know that whatever failure you experience along the way is just a step towards success. This has been The Artist Influence. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'll talk to you soon.